again, thank you very much to my wife. Marrying me was very important.
Well, how are you?
I also want to thank Mr. Will Bronson for making this all happen, putting it together. He felt uncomfortable asking me a lot of questions, but you know what? It's important that you know. And I really appreciate your support. For those of you that do not know me, I have been fighting since really started in late 2007, but the case started in 2008. There's been so many things that have gone wrong, so many things that have happened, and anybody that knows what's going on with foreclosures know there's all kinds of false documents, fraudulent documents, fake documents, and that's just not acceptable. That actually affects a lot of people. We have a flyer that Will drew up, and he talks about how he worked for the airlines for 25 years and then lost his pension and health insurance. The banks want to blame people like myself who are fighting this, but we didn't cause this. It's the banks. They stole the investors' monies like that, and they're trying to steal our homes. And quite frankly, this is just not acceptable. I wish more people would stand up and realize that it's not the people who want the home, free home. It's not the people who overextended. We didn't cause this. The banks caused it. The banks are trying to steal our homes, trying to steal pensions. And
the courts are helping.
Yes, the courts are helping. The government is helping, and quite frankly, we need to turn this around. And I'm just a spoke in the wheel, and Will is too. And I really hope you support Will Bronson if you are in his district, as well as myself. Again, Ron Gillis for State Representative, District 75. And I appreciate everybody that's out here today supporting me. Today was an interesting day. I told the court they did not have jurisdiction anymore because I actually moved my case to federal court, and it's violations of all of our rights that we all need to stand up for. And
do you think the federal courts are as corrupt as the state courts?
No, they do certainly have their problems, but no, I think they are a little less corrupt. Yeah, I can have a trial by jury. You also have judges that, if you can lay out that this is the law, this is the rules, they follow it. They do not follow them here in state court.
They're not following their own rules in the courts here at the state level.
That's correct. Well, I'd like to turn this over to Brad. All right, thank you.
Woo,
Let's go, put your hands together for Ron Gillis. Make sure you get out and vote. Next up, guys, we're going to have a very special speaker here. Some of you guys might know him. His name is Dave Krieger. He wrote a book, Clouded Titles. Did I say that right? Clouded Titles. He's all over the internet, and we're pretty lucky to have you here today, guys. So let's put our hands together, Mr. Dave Krieger.
Thank you. This is like my old stomping grounds, me and this megaphone. The first time that I came across this organization called Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. I can tell the crowd loves them. The first time I actually had a head-to-head confrontation with them was in federal court in Kansas City, Missouri, where they tried to have me ejected. Unfortunately, the magistrate who invited me to participate in the settlement conference I was there for informed them that he invited me, and that I was staying right where I was. So what ended up happening was, no different than what's going on here. Bank of America was in court trying to steal this woman's home. There was nothing in the land records showing that Bank of America owned the house. The homeowner actually went to the insurance company and said, would you please look in the land records and verify that Bank of America actually owns my property, because they have listed on my homeowner's insurance, on my hazard policy, that they're an additional insured. So what ends up happening was the insurance company went and looked at the land records and said, no, we can't find any evidence at all that Bank of America actually owns this property. And so what they did was they cut a check for $3,600 and some change to the homeowner that Bank of America had paid to insure the policy, and the bank basically gave it to the homeowner, who cashed the check and got her own policy and did not include Bank of America as additional insured. Then Nation Star came along. You all know Nation Star, don't you, out of Lewisville, Texas? Nation Star came along, and they turned around and they claimed to own the property, and they put their name on a hazard insurance policy as additional insured. Yet nowhere in the land records does that appear. How convenient that Florida in 2005 passed legislation to pretty much declare open season on homeowners, so you don't have to record assignments in the state of Florida only when it's convenient for you. And considering the last, because of the fact that I audit county land records, we just conducted a county land record audit. In fact, it was a forensic examination to look for criminal wrongdoing in the state of Florida. And we found multiple violations which we intend to bring to the state's attorney with the intent of impaneling a grand jury to indict those responsible for filing false documents under Florida Penal Code 817535. I cannot begin to say that the bankers' rule books, especially the one that Wells Fargo is getting scrutinized for in New York State right now, is erupting all over the United States. People are actually challenging this 150-page book, and this book basically tells attorneys that if you don't have a document, all you have to do is just write to the Wells Fargo Home Mortgage Default Solutions team, and we'll just invent one out of thin air. Not only are federal judges in New York looking at this, but so are the New York State regulators. This is problematic all over the United States, folks. This has absolutely nothing to do with just New York itself. So, the challenge is to get educated, which is one of the reasons why we do seminars. We have one upcoming in Las Vegas. My website is cloudedtitles.com. I encourage all of you to visit my blog. It's free. The information there is free. It's cloudedtitlesblog.com. And you can read dozens of posts that I put up here about the assignments dating all the way back. In fact, this is an interesting thing I was just talking to Will about, was the Ibanez case in 2011, where the Massachusetts Judicial Supreme Court determined that there was an issue with a foreclosure done by U.S. Bank. Come to find out, U.S. Bank did not actually own the property they were taking, and they didn't file the assignment until a year later. And this is where the U.S. Bank versus Ibanez case was ruled upon by the Massachusetts Supreme Court. So this kind of thing happens all over the United States on a regular basis. It's just that until homeowners stand up and protest, their chain of titles are going to remain corrupted. And as far as Barbara Scott here in the courthouse is concerned, if she allows this to continue for the next 15 years, what's happened the last 15 years, there's not going to be any land records worth protecting. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, next up we have another special guest. Her name is Myra Schaefer, and she is from the Mortgage Justice. Here we go. Put your hands together, guys.
Thank you. Yes, we are the Mortgage Justice Group. I'm one of the co-founders, and we started...
Oh, yes, we're the Mortgage Justice Group, and I'm one of the co-founders. We started Mortgage Justice as homeowners helping homeowners fight foreclosure fraud. We do have, some members do have attorneys, but we are not a group of attorneys. We are just homeowners supporting homeowners. We fight fraud in the courts. We fought the HB 87 bill for 4 years. The bill that says unconstitutionally you don't get your house back if you lose it if you win it back in appeals court, because most cases are lost in state court. One has to appeal. It's very expensive. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of the court time. And the bill is unconstitutional. It says we do not get our houses back if we win in appeals court. We're still trying to get rid of that bill, but the legislators do everything they can to suppress truth and justice. And Ron Gillis is a supporter of truth and justice. He has been a total supporter of fighting the fraud. not just for his own case, but for all the people. He travels all over the state, bringing awareness and truth and justice to wherever he speaks. And we need people like this to become our leaders, where our leaders today are not leading us, but taking things from us. So I want to really find every way possible to support Ron and Will Bronson. We're getting candidates running who will fight for you, fight for truth and justice, not just words. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we're going to change gears here a little bit. Next up, we have a gentleman that comes from Tampa. He represents a beautiful group. Sort of ties in here a little bit, gives you an idea of what America could be. Up we have here is Jay Alexander.
Thank you, everybody. I'm also a bar commissioner and elected official, and I just hope that these two people that are running will be taking the oath of office soon. And I'm also doing a one-man show here, trying to bring back a program that gave 3 million young men jobs back in the Great Depression. It was one of the first acts that the Roosevelt administration had in its first 100 days, and he promised the American people action, and there is nothing to fear but fear itself. And he also says we can always build the future for our youth, but we can build them. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build them for the future. Excuse me. And at that time, they sent these boys out. They did work on our national parks and national forests, and they had to send home 83% of their pay. They only got $30 a month, $1 a day. And there's the term, if you ever heard it, another day, another dollar, came from the CCC. And what their allotments did was to help their families out, to fight foreclosure, to fight starvation, and to be left on the street, which was happening rampant in the Depression. And we're kind of in the same situation today. So I just ask you to have a petition here if you'd like to sign. It'd be nice, and also your contact information to get in touch with you, and to contact your member of Congress, which hopefully will be our man over here, if you're in his District 17. That's about it. Thank you very much.
There are so many documents that are being created and presented as evidence in courtrooms and are not factual, it would make your toes curl. I am telling you here from my own personal experience that we have been set up like bowling pins and knocked down. We've been set up like bowling pins and we have been knocked down legally. This must stop. It's one of the reasons why I'm running to be in the House of Representatives here in Florida, because I'm digging my heels in and I'm saying enough is enough. I played by the rules, I did things right, and I got hosed. And I'm getting hosed by my system. And the Department of Justice is not doing anything about these faux court hearings that we're having that are stealing people's homes. We need to stop this. Thank you very much. My name's Charlie Messina. I'm running for Florida, House District 76. I hope someone from my district this year that could vote for me. Thank you very much.
I just want to interject something here real quickly. And I'm sorry I'm interrupting the procedures of things.
No, that's fine.
But the things that he just mentioned are common. And they are also all illegal.
It's in every single case.
Pretty much. That is the thing we all must stop. We are all affected, whether you're in foreclosure or not, whether you're renting a house or not, whether you're homeless. We are all being affected by that. So please, everybody, stand up for what is right. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, guys, here we go. Our next guest is a personal friend of mine and a great guy. Everybody put their hands together for Mr. Will Bronson, running for U.S. Congress, District 17.
Yeah, Will.
Thank you, Brad. By the way, Brad's my campaign manager, so he was paid to say that.
I wasn't paid to say it.
Exactly. And I want to thank all of you who came out here today, because unless we stand up, we're going to get hosed, as Charlie said. We're going to be run over unless we become the squeaky wheel. And it's not a lot of us, you know, the square should be filled, and we put the invitation out to over 1,000 people. And so a lot of people know that we're here. And I'd like to ask you, any of you who are taking pictures, to make them available, send them to us, and we're going to put them into social media, and there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people who are going to be witnesses to what we're doing here today, which is standing up against a system that has so abused the American people and the average person. I didn't realize when I met Charlie Messina last week at an environmental gathering in Naples that he was in foreclosure. I knew he was running for Congress, but what impresses me, that he's running for the State House. What impresses me that we have candidates now who have not been intimidated, who, even though they don't have $1 million, and this is what it costs these days to run for office, the amount of money that's spent in political campaigns is obscene, you know, far above what the salaries are that the people are getting. So you have to wonder, where did all this money come from, and what are the expectations that people were putting this money up? Well, we know because of this bill that was put through the State House that basically removes our constitutional rights. I'm running against a guy that voted for H.R. 347, which criminalized public protests like we're having today if the Secret Service was around. So if for some reason the Secret Service was here, we could all be arrested and given a jail sentence and fined. It's our constitutional rights are being trampled, and unless average people like you and I stand up and do something about it, it's not going to get any better, it's going to get worse. And we're standing against corporatism, of which the banks are a part. And Ron Paul rightly said, quoting Mussolini, that corporatism is the first step before fascism. And we see this unholy alliance between huge corporations, private corporations like the 5 big banks, and the government, and their paid lackeys who are getting all this money from lobbyists. And they're basically running the system for their own benefit and impoverishing the rest of the country. And it's really killing us. And this is why I'm here. I'm standing up. I met Ron 2 years ago when I was running against Tom Rooney, my opponent, who's a Tea Party Republican millionaire lawyer. And he spent $1 million against me. In 2012, we spent less than $20,000 and we got 41.5% of the vote. So I'm back for a rematch. And this time I'm going to put it over the top, and we're going to send a message all across this land that it's not about the money. It's about the truth, and it's about doing justice for the average person. And when I met Ron on the campaign trail 2 years ago, we were talking about this issue, which is very near and dear to my heart, because you can't, you know, everybody knows somebody who's had their house stolen from them. And when I heard that Ron's been fighting this for over 6 years and was going into court yesterday to put it into federal court and going to court today to get the venue moved over to the federal court, I said, well, this is a great opportunity. Let's pass the word, get as many people out here as we can, and show some support, not just for Ron, but for all the people who've been intimidated and out of walking away from their homes. We're encouraging everybody to stay in your home and fight this. The same way that I can't be intimidated. You know, I've had people in my own party say, you're wasting our time, everybody else is even running. You shouldn't even be running if you can't raise or have $1 million. Why are you bothering? Well, I'm bothering because of people like you and me who are seeing our rights taken away. And so I just thank you all for coming here, and I think it occurred to me while I was listening to the speakers, and I'm so glad Dave came because I was listening to him on YouTube last night, and I was so fired up, and we're hoping to remove to a restaurant down the street, and all of you are welcome to come join us where we can discuss more personally about these issues. Do you remember the name of the restaurant?
Well, we're going to, I think we picked another one a little bit closer.
Okay.
Well, I got to go.
Okay. And then also, it occurred to me that maybe we should, since we're all here and we have our banners and everything, let's not waste it. Let's march around this courtroom 7 times and maybe the walls will fall down. But seriously, I think we should, when we adjourn here, you know, take a nice casual walk around with our banners and let people know in this community that there are people who aren't going to take this injustice lying down. Yeah. So are we all in on that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So please, visit our website, BronsonForCongress.com. We need volunteers, obviously, because when you don't have a lot of money, you need boots on the ground. So we'd love to have your help. And please support Ron. He's running as an independent. Please support Charlie and other people who have the courage to step up, even though the odds are very much against them, and to carry the banner for the average American. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, what we're thinking here is just like Will said, we're going to exercise our right for free speech. We're thinking that we're going to walk down the street here.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.